Hello and good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome back to another lovely day at Teacup Castle. I hope you are all good and well and good. I see all of the lovely people in the chat. We've got Dibs, we've got Rob, we've got Palace, we've got Tom, we've got Gaz. Gaz is with us this morning. We have Shem, of course, the very lovely Shem is in the house. Everybody's saying hi, as you should do on this fine, beautiful morning. I'm lying. It is not a fine, beautiful morning. It is about to lash outside my window. However, every afternoon spent with you people is beautiful. And of course, we have some more tea to spill. We have some more rumours to talk about. We have a phone to put on silent. It's all about the important things in life, guys. Bear with me just a moment. One of these days, I am going to remember to do this before the stream actually starts. I mean, I don't know when that day is going to happen, but one day it's going to come along and we won't know ourselves. You'll all think I've been abducted by aliens. Neil has joined us, the very lovely Neil. Tottenham Therapy is in the house in Big Up Blue. Come on, you Spurs. And Huge, the Tea Titan, has joined us. We now have 2 out of our 3 Tea Titans in the house. Guys, as you will see from the thumbnail, we've lots to talk about, loads of rumours, loads of nonsense. I love it. All the tea is coming out. However, we're going to start the show with something that's not actually technically a transfer, which is why it's not actually on the thumbnail, but we are going to talk about Matheus Cunha, not as a transfer, but as a rumour. So we'll touch on that. But first of all, Dibs here. Dibs is saying, FYI, Agent Lou, I got another hat-trick and an assist last night. Dibs is looking for a pay rise for the greater good. I think Dibs needs to get lucky on the case. I don't think I'm the kind of super agent you need. I think lucky is the level of super agent you need, Dibs. You've gone far beyond my capabilities. Shout out to Bruno, who is in the house. Paul G is also here saying, come on, you Spurs. Shem, you have some backup in the chat today. We have Tottenham Therapy and Paul G backing our Shem up today. I'll tell you what, the Spurs contingent is growing at Teacup Castle, so it is. But hope yous are all good, guys. So let us start at the start, obviously, because that's normally the good place to start. But there was a post made yesterday on X, obviously X, because that's where all the rumours start, to be fair. That's where all of the rumours, all of the tea comes from X. So yesterday, Frank Era, which is a pretty big sort of fan account, they're a Man United fan, but they shared a quote from ESPN Brazil, okay? This quote says, Matheus Cunha had an adductor problem in recent days. Despite some pain, he still played against Liverpool, helping Man United qualify for the Champions League. Since the main objective has been achieved, Brazil has reached an agreement with United to rest him in the last 3 games so that he can fully recover to play in the World Cup. Even though he's able to play, the idea behind the agreement is to be cautious so that he's 100% for the World Cup, which starts in just over a month. I'll be honest, I saw this last night. I didn't think too much into it. I just didn't think much of it. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I don't really mind too much. It's not like we're still trying to qualify. Okay. But that was the end of it. I didn't think about it again. I moved on. But it has sort of been debunked since last night. So I'm reading this from Sully Talks, but it has been debunked by a number of people who have come out and said Manchester United know nothing about any potential agreement with the Brazilian Football Federation to rest Matheus Cunha for the last 3 Premier League games of the season. Matheus Cunha then himself weighed in on his own Instagram. It shared a picture of him like this, and the caption is, "What?" with a question mark. So not only did Matheus Cunha, or not only did the club not know about this, the player didn't know about this. So it feels a little bit made up. It feels a little bit made up if half of the people that are supposed to be involved in the agreement don't know about this agreement. So it feels like maybe ESPN have got 2 + 2, got 8, and then ran with it completely. So both the club have denied knowing about this, and Matheus Cunha has denied knowing about this. So it seems like something ESPN Brazil might have just plucked out of thin air, basically. It doesn't seem to be true. Now, what I would suggest is I wouldn't be surprised if he's been playing with a knock, because as we discussed yesterday, most players at this point of the season are playing with a knock. However, as to this supposed agreement that he's not going to be playing and he's going to be rested, neither the club nor the player know anything about it. So it seems to be absolute poppycock. Poppycock is what we're saying at the moment. And I suppose we're going to know soon, he's either going to play in the next match or he's not. And then we're going to know. Because if he plays in the next match, then we know for sure it was just poppycock. But I see Bushy Corner TV is in the house. Good afternoon and welcome. And of course, our very own, one of a kind, very lovely Mama Flossie is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Yes, Cunha said, what? With a question mark. So yeah. Player, club, haven't a clue. Apparently ESPN Brazil know more than we do. So yeah, I at the moment filed under poppycock. Shen says, why doesn't Cunha just do what Romero does and get a red card for a secret injury every international break? I'll be honest, that sounds like more like something Martinez would do. I'll be totally honest. I can't see Cunha doing that. I could see Martinez doing it. And that is unfair speculation, but that's my opinion, guys. So get over it. However, that is not the only speculation that is happening. And again, this is my own pure speculation. This is my opinion. And guys, we're going to have a lot of this from now all the way through the summer. These are opinions, these are speculations, these are guesses, some of them educated, some of them vibes, but there is no facts, because nobody has facts, because nobody knows. When it comes to transfers and rumours and what might happen, none of it is factual. It is all guesswork. So everything I say from here, probably until the end of August, is going to be my opinion and is not going to be in any way factual. Let me see. Bruno's in the house. Bruno says, ESPN Brazil cooking up news like how every article on the internet seems to have a random research showing whatever they want to show you, but not providing any sources to the research. Or worse, they quote a source. And this isn't ESPN Brazil, this is on social media. People quote a source and it's not real. So like the amount of times I've literally seen journalists, big journalists, come out and be like, why you put my name next to that? I never said that. I've seen that multiple times in the last few weeks. Journalists being like, I never said this. What you talking about? So yes, but my next bit of speculation and vibes. Hugh just saying, love the cult vibe section. I mean, it's the only section that matters, really. It's all about the vibes. Hello to Moonshine. Shout out to our Moonshine. Thank you for being here. But yeah, so next bit of speculation I have for you guys. I'm going to have so much fun. Guys, I should probably just let you know. You probably have noticed at this point anyway. I have a little bit of an imagination. I'm a reader. I like to read. I've read from a very young age. My granny taught us all how to read before we were that's a good word, Bruno, gobbledygook. I like that. But I've lost my train of thought. You said gobbledygook. It's such a good word. Now I've lost myself. I've lost myself in the word. What is it? Oh yeah. So I like to read, but I have a very good imagination. According to my teachers used to say that to my parents. My parent teacher, she's a great imagination. So yeah, it's this we're in for a wild ride. You're going to have to just remember through the summer, opinion, vibes, no facts, none of it. We don't have any facts because neither does anyone else, but at least we're going to be honest about it. Mohammed is in the house. We now have all three of our Tea Titans in the house. Shout out to you guys. Let me see. Bruno, what do you mean a section? It's an entire cult of personality. It is, to be fair. Big up to Luke, who has joined us as well. And I did see that. Footy Corner TV has a very important question. How are the vibes at the Etihad, do you reckon? Well, it depends how many of the Everton fans are still rocking around there this morning. I would say not good. Bad vibes. Bad vibes is what I would say, Footy Corner TV. So, my next speculation. I keep saying I'm going to tell you and then I don't tell you. This is coming. It was coming from Instagram, okay? So Marcus Rashford has been active on the Instagram, okay? And he was on after the match where we beat Liverpool. Cobby posted a little picture of himself. Marcus Rashford's in the comments doing little little meme pictures, and then Bruno Fernandes had a picture up, and there's Marcus Rashford in the comments. Congratulations, brother. Love heart. Now, I know they're all friends, and we know Cobby and Rashford are friends. We know Rashford and Bruno had a good relationship when Rashford was at the club. And this, I have to stress this because people get triggered. This is complete and utter speculation, okay? I'm aware they're friends and they're allowed to communicate on social media. I'm not giving out, by the way. But with all of this news about Barcelona stalling, Barcelona don't want to pay, Barcelona want another loan, United don't want another loan, and we've reached an impasse, etc., etc. So, oh yeah, funny corner. Sorry, Everton were at home. Corrected, right? But I'm just wondering, with the potential that Barcelona continue to do Barcelona things, and that Rashford potentially might have to, at some point, maybe even just for a bit of pre-season, have to come back to Old Trafford, because if Barcelona and United can't get a deal over the line, Marcus Rashford is in fact going to have to leave Barcelona. Now, I'm hoping they can figure it out, but with Barcelona doing Barcelona things, I am just wondering, he's, on the socials, talking about, hey friend, hey love, hey brother, congratulations, hi. And I'm just wondering, he could message them privately. He could message them privately and be like, well done, lads. So chuffed for you guys. And so I just wonder, is it a little bit of like publicly, just as a contingency, if things don't work out with Barcelona, he has to sort of start ingratiating himself back in, because there would be a large proportion of the fan base. Some people would be delighted if he came back, but there would be a large proportion of the fan base that would be a little bit like, don't want him to come back. And so I just thought, are we going to start seeing more of these public messages of support as things are going well at United to sort of grease the wheels a little bit? Gaz is saying, apparently Barca want Gordon, not good for us. That wouldn't be good for us, but apparently he's going to Bayern Munich for 100% certain. Apparently, I saw a link, was it Real Madrid? It was another Spanish club. It might have been Real Madrid, but I couldn't swear to it. Gordon's getting linked to everyone at the minute, and he's going to continue to get linked to everyone. I would suggest at the moment the probability looks to be Bayern, so I'm not overly stressed about that. Also, as Footy Corner TV say, they can't afford him. Because the thing is, if they can't afford to pay Rashford, and Rashford's a cut price deal, then they're definitely not going to be able to afford Gordon, who's going to cost a whole lot more than Rashford. So Barcelona can't afford him. Ain't happening. Harold is in the house. Hello to Harold. And Moonshine says, who's Gordon's agent? A wizard. It's Harry. Are you a wizard, Harry? But yes, so like I said, speculation on my part. I just thought it was a little bit interested. Bruno, I am not British, so I am not the person to ask about British tea. Wrong country. I'm Irish. So you're asking the wrong person. You sub to this channel to find out about British tea. Well, you're going to be very sorely disappointed, because I make Irish tea, because I'm not British. So that's the end of that conversation. Probably ask a British person about British tea. There's a lot of British channels out there. Not one of them. Absolutely not one of them, Bruno. So moving swiftly on from being called British, we're going to talk about Phil Foden. So, as Moonshine says, please do hit the like button. And as Rob is saying, please subscribe if you're new. It really does help the channel. It does. But Phil Foden is not a transfer rumour, but it's all in the same ballpark at this point. Any sort of contractual agreement with a player or a manager is going to be referred to as a transfer for the foreseeable. So Phil Foden, And Manchester City have agreed terms in principle on a new 4-year contract. This is being reported by Sky Sports News. So surely they are somewhat of a reasonable source. You would imagine they probably fact check before they say things. You would like to think. I mean, I know that's a high bar I'm setting, but they seem like the kind of people that probably should do that. So they've announced Phil Foden and Manchester City have agreed terms in principle on a new 4-year deal. What do we think of that one, people? Because obviously Phil Foden hasn't had a particularly good season. He's not been very good, has he, this season? And I'm struggling to, and I don't know if I'm misremembering. So last season, was he good last season? Did he have a season off last season? I know this season he's not been very good, but I don't know if I'm conflating the two things. Shem. I'm going to put you in a timeout, Shem. The cult is universal, but I am not. What do we think? What do we think, guys, of Phil Foden, Manchester City, a new 4-year contract? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Do we think it's a blip? Next season he's going to get back to his best? Do we think... I just don't think he's been very good since... I feel like he wasn't great last season, but I might be misremembering. I do stand to be corrected on that. Lucky's here. Welcome to Lucky. Harold, so I'm not misremembering. Harold is saying he struggled even more last season. Yes, okay. So that's... Don't do that. Shem can't leave. Shem can never leave. He's stuck with us. But okay, so I didn't misremember. Thank you very much for that, Harold. So he struggled even more last season. So he's had 2 tough seasons. So is it a show of support that they've offered him a new 4-year contract? Or is it that, as Footy Corner TV said, I'm sure it was Footy Corner TV, who else would buy him? So is that a thing that, he's at a value that they wouldn't be able to buy him and that's why they're keeping him? Or is it a show of support? What do you guys think? Get your thoughts in. Shout out to Rob. Massive shout out to Rob for a massive super sticker. Thank you very much. Rob, oh, it's the pear. I love it. I love the dancing fruits. So I'm on StreamYard, so StreamYard just tells me super sticker. It doesn't show me the sticker. I have to click across into the chat to see it. But so Rob has put the pear. Do you know my favourite little pear? And it's jumping up and down saying #1 fan. So massive shout out to Rob. Exactly corrected, right, guys? Go on, Rob. He's a legend. Go on, the Rob. Thank you very much for that. Very much appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rob. I love the little dancing pair. They genuinely, I'm so simple-minded. They genuinely make me laugh. It's actually terrible. Bruno has recovered from his tea making and has agreed terms in principle for Margot Robbie to go on a date with her. And says, I hate these HR jargons. We know he's going to stay. Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm taking it as he's staying. Palace Red Devil is getting in on the sticker alert. Palace Red Devil is getting in. Oh, it's the pear again, guys. It's the pear. This time, the pear is blowing. Do you know them little things you blow at parties? They're like paper and you blow them and they make a noise. What are they called? Party thingers? What are they actually called? So I love it. Thank you very much to both Rob and Palace Red Devil. Shout out to the dancing pears. I'll have to get my green t-shirt on later for the stickers. What is this? Harold is saying clubs need to show some loyalty, otherwise players wouldn't go there. If a club were run like fans want them to be, they'd be out of business. The thing is, Harold, and I've actually said this before, you might remember me saying this before because you've seen me on quite a few shows even before I was on my own channel. You might remember me saying this. Rob will almost definitely remember me saying this. I think Rob definitely will have seen me saying this before. Guess isn't here, but she saw me saying it on a channel 4 years ago. Fans can think what they want. Fans can say what they want. Fans don't have to show loyalty. Fans are allowed to act like fans. And I'm never going to criticize a fan for behaving however they feel like, because there is no right or wrong way to be a fan, and nobody gets to dictate to anyone else how to be a real fan. I hate the term. I absolutely, genuinely hate the term real fan. It's the stupidest term I've ever heard in my life. It shouldn't exist. It just shouldn't exist. But clubs shouldn't run themselves like fans, because they're professionals in business. So, for example, I'm a fan. I have a whole heap of opinions about things. I have a load of stuff I say. The club should do this, the club should do that. However, as all of you know, I worked in HR for years. If I was actually hired by Manchester United, do you think I would behave in the same way in a professional environment if it was my job, the way I do as a fan? Absolutely not. Because as a fan, I have no responsibility to the club or to the players or to anybody else. My responsibility is to me and my enjoyment, and to say whatever the hell I feel like saying. But I agree. The club shouldn't be run how the fans want them to be run, because really the fans don't actually want them to be run that way. I said it at the start of last summer. I don't want the club to behave how I would behave as a fan, because they need to behave like professional people. I don't. I'm just a fan. I don't know anybody, anything. I can say whatever I want because I'm a fan, and I'm allowed to do that. But it doesn't really have any consequences because I'm not in charge of anything. So yeah, the club, I don't think, to be fair, Harold, I don't actually think a lot of fans want the club to be run how they see things. You're free to express it as a fan because you've no responsibility. It's just an opinion. If it's your job, it's very different. So I don't think they should be run like as if they're fans, but I don't think a lot of fans would actually in reality want that either, to be fair. I do think it's a good point about the clubs needing to show some loyalty to players, otherwise people won't go there, because if you dropped every player that has a bad patch or that has a tough time, you're right. Who would go there? Who would go there? Because you know you're going to be dropped like a hot snot the minute something goes wrong. You've no job security. So yes, I agree with you 100%. No, it didn't come out weird. No, I 100% understand what you were saying. 100%. And I agree for the most part. I saw a sticker. Shev's got a sticker. It's the pear. The pear is bringing me coffee. Guys, I've actually got an addiction. Look at this. Look at this. I have an addiction. That's only so far this morning, and after this stream, I'll have another one. It's actually ridiculous. I'm not okay. I'm not okay, guys. Oh, the fox. It's the fox, guys. It's the fox. Moonshine has got the fox in, and it says, "My hero." Thank you, guys, so much. I love the stickers. I love the stickers. Oh, they make me so happy. Really. Thank you, guys. Yes, Luke, we could all do with a coffee, a tea, the caffeine, whatever caffeine. Well, so far I've had a coffee and a tea. I've had one of each. So you don't have to be exclusive. You can have both. Why have one when you can have both? Let me see. Oh, no. That's so odd. That's really odd. I'll be honest, my answer to this when things don't work. My genuine answer to this is YouTube doing YouTube things. Really and truly. YouTube does its best to be a pain in the backside. 100%. That's what it is. It's just YouTube being YouTube. Hopefully it'll stop being a bugger for you though, because obviously we want you to be an official one of us. So I'd say it's just YouTube doing YouTube things, unfortunately. But I see Neil here. Lou, my family are from Ireland on my dad's side, mum's side Italy and British, born in Egypt, cousins in USA, Australia on mum's side, cousins in Ireland on my dad's side. Tell you what, Neil's universal. Neil has got all of the nationalities covered. That's quite a family tree, Neil. That must be very interesting, all the different cultures. Yes, there's a pair off in the chat, and then Moonshine comes in with the fox to eat all the fruit. I love it. I love it. What else? What else are you guys saying? Oh yes, obviously, it was only a fake timeout. It doesn't even count. Don't listen to me. Lucky's in here. Do you know what? Lucky, you need to speak to Dibs. Dibs needs an agent. He's scoring hat-tricks all over the place. He needs Lucky. That's so strange. So strange. I don't understand it. So strange. Bruno. I'm a fake fan for watching games from my home halfway across the world where the girls can finish at 4:30 a.m. It's rough being a Man United fan. Yeah, see this term of like fake fan, real fan. Honestly, put them all in the bin. Put them all in the bin. The whole thing's just a big pile of nonsense. Everybody's a real fan. Everybody's a real fan unless you're genuinely not an actual fan. It doesn't go by geography. Complete nonsense. Shout out to Stu, who has joined us. Afternoon, Lou and chat. Just on a quick break. Can't stay long. Feel 3-2 having a nice day. Shout out to Stu. Don't work too hard. Don't work too hard, Stu. Mohammed, correct and right. Fake fan or real fan thing is a whole load of BS. Yes, because what it is, it's a stick to beat people who don't have the same opinion as you, which is complete nonsense. If you can't handle someone having a different opinion than you, unless it's hateful or they're like purposely talking nonsense. Some people are purposely obtuse just to wind you up. That's different. If it's their genuine opinion, that's just life. Do you know what I mean? What irritates me is when people set out to annoy other people. That's where I have a problem. Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started. The geographical, don't even get me started because no harm. There's absolutely no way I would be doing what Bruno's doing. There's zero chance I would be getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning to watch this Man United. No chance. So definitely not geographically linked. Obtuse. It's a good word, Paul. Obtuse is a good word. You're being purposely obtuse because I needed something stronger than stupid. Yeah, basically. And yeah, I agree, Luke. 100%. 100%. Guys, Lucky. Thank you very much. Lucky likes my hair today. Thank you. Thanks, Lucky. But guys, let us move on. So Phil Foden is staying at Manchester City. I think there could be a little bit of a mix. They probably wouldn't be able to get a whole lot of money from him at the minute because he's had 2 pretty tough seasons. And I also agree with Harold. At some point, you have to show some loyalty to your players. Not all the time. So, for example, I don't think we should be keeping Ugarte out of loyalty. Do you know what I mean? We need to sell him. But I think someone who is given what Phil Foden is given when he's having a tough time, you have to sort of stand by him. So, yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, absolutely bonkers. Harold there is saying some people believe you have a right and wrong way to be a fan. Bonkers. Bonkers is the only word for I love that word. Bonkers is a great word. It's such a good word. We just have Bonkers, the Liverpool fan that comes into us. It's such a great name. I love it. Really, I do. And speaking of Bonkers, speaking of Liverpool, thank you, Harold. That teed me up nicely. That brings us to Curtis Jones. Now, we spoke about Curtis Jones ages ago. I don't know if anybody remembers the very first transfer talk show I did, I was talking about Curtis Jones. And at the time, I'm pretty sure he was being listed with Spurs when we spoke about it at that time. So, we have a word, says Mama Flossie. They're diddly wax. And just to be clear, that's not the Liverpool fans. Oh, Flossie, the timing was good. I'm sorry, Moonshine. I'm so sorry. Oh, guys. Oh, sometimes the timing, it just, because obviously I'm changing topics, I get some comments from the previous topic and then some from the new topic. And sometimes they just line up beautifully. Diddlywax is a phenomenal word. I'm going to keep that one. You're such a diddlywhack. I'm going to say that to my IT support when he gets home from work today. You're such a diddlywhack. Thank you, Flossie. That's brilliant. Moonshine, after being called a diddlywhack by Flossie, has said, I'll be gutted if Jones leaves. So let us read this story about Jones. Curtis Jones is strongly considering bringing his 16-year Liverpool career to an end. Jones is understood to have become frustrated after starting only 13 Premier League games this season. Aston Villa have also added Jones to their list of summer targets, while Spurs would be keen if they avoid relegation. Jones is about to enter the final year of his contract, so the Reds either need to sell or offer a new deal. That was from Alex Crook, okay? And that was the one we spoke about ages ago. That came out on the 22nd of April, so that was like weeks ago now at this point. Fabrizio then decided to get involved with this party, and he posted this on the 30th of April, so about a week after the previous post, okay? And Fabrizio says, Curtis Jones could leave Liverpool in the summer as talks over new deals have been stalling for months. Inter have been interested since January and remain keen depending on the price tag. Premier League clubs, Spurs, are also involved. So that was on the 30th. So the noise wasn't getting any less, and it was like big people still involved, like with Fabrizio. Now, we then scale it back slightly because the next one is from Graham Bailey. And according to Graham Bailey, and based on my recent interactions or the interactions that I've seen on some of Graham Bailey's posts, this one might be a bit of nonsense, but I'm going to read it out anyway. I'm going to read it out anyway, and you can all tell me what you make of it. According to Graham Bailey at Team Talk, Newcastle have entered the race for Curtis Jones. Team Talk can exclusively reveal, but a move to Italy with Inter Milan is emerging as a particularly attractive option for the Liverpool midfielder. So it's starting to seem like if the contract talks are stalling and he's not happy with his playtime and he's in the last year of his contract and this noise is building and building and building, it seems like Curtis Jones might genuinely leave. However, his options are incredibly difficult because he has to choose between Spurs, who might get relegated, Newcastle, and Inter Milan. So that's quite a spectrum of potential links. That's an interesting spectrum of potential links. I'm not really... And like I said, it started off with Spurs. It was very much Spurs. He was going to Spurs. He was linked to Spurs. There was personal terms with Spurs. And then in the last few reports, Inter Milan starts to crop up every time. As far as I can see, Graham Bailey was the first person to talk about Newcastle United, and he posted this on the 4th of May. So I've gone through them in chronological order. He has only put this out yesterday, Graham Bailey. So it might just be that this is new and eventually somebody maybe a little bit more credible will cover it. But at the moment, that's what's being said. And so it seems probable that he is going to leave Liverpool based on the information. Sorry, Moonshine. But where he goes, he's obviously not going to go to Spurs if they get relegated. Even if they stay in the Premier League, if you have a choice between Newcastle and Spurs, surely you're more likely to go to Newcastle than Spurs, especially after the last 2 seasons. But really, if you have the option to go to Inter Milan above both of those, you'd go to Inter Milan, wouldn't you? Like, is that me? Surely you would go to Inter Milan. Let me know what you guys think of that, because obviously it seems to be just evolving. And let me read some of your comments while you're having a little think. Neil is saying, it's good to see local boys get in the first team at United and Liverpool have always had local players in their team. Yes. Harold is saying, not Liverpool. How long is this section going to be? To be fair, we're also going to be talking about Arne Slot, so it'll be at least another few minutes. We are also going to be talking about Hertzler and Rob Edwards. And maybe if we've a little bit of time at the end, maybe 5 minutes just on Newcastle. It's more to tidy up things we were already talking about. So maybe another 5 to 10 minutes, Harold. I'm sure you can do it. Yes, let me see. What are you guys? Paul G is saying, I'd take him all day at Spurs. I also understand why his options are limited, though. Fair. Lucky wants Italy. Oh, is saying Italy want Manuel Ugarte. They can have him, Lucky. Send him off. James Madison would beg to differ. Would beg to differ about what? What would James Maddison beg to differ about? You let me know, because I'll fight him. Chev is saying, why would he go to Inter, who just won Serie A, in the Champions League every season, has world-class players instead of Spurs? I mean, Shem, when you put it like that. Mohammed says, and obviously Mohammed is a Liverpool fan, if I were him, I would wait to see if Liverpool sack Slot and make his decision after that, because it's mainly Slot not liking him, i.e. if Slot goes, he'll probably get more playing time. And in the original report we read way back when this first came out, it did say his preference would be to stay at Liverpool. The reason he would leave is he's not happy with his playing time. So that's a great point from Mohammed. If Slot leaves or is asked to leave, then this all becomes irrelevant. He doesn't go. The thing is Slot going to go? Is Slot actually going anywhere? Because at one point it looks like he was going to be gone. And then the next time, like the next minute, it looked like he was going to stay. And so that does bring us to Slot, because there has been a little rumor about Slot, and they do all tie in together. Well, he's not going to be fighting fit either when I'm done with him, that James Maddison. I don't know what he disagrees on, but I'll show him. Jib says, James Maddison is so injury prone that my money is on Lou to win the fight. Moonshine is saying, Slot and Jones had a big falling out a few months ago. Okay, so that's it. Well, let me bring some light to Curtis Jones' life, okay? Now, I have no idea about the veracity of this. Again, these are rumors. This is tea. It is all speculation. But let us talk about the speculation. I want to share this one because I'm not actually going to be able to pronounce the journalist's name, which means I'm going to end up saying it wrong. And you're going to be like, who? At least if I show you, then we'll have an idea what we're talking about. Paul, it depends if he's got his crutches with him. The Mr. Arsenal podcast is in the house and is clearly feeling a little happy about something. I'm not sure what might have happened over the last 24 to 48 hours that would make such an Arsenal fan so very happy. Shout out the Mr. Arsenal podcast. But this is the rumor that does tie into it. Exactly what Touchline is saying. Curtis Jones, all these rumours he's going to leave. However, he had this big fallout, as Moonshine told us a few months ago with Slot. And then according to Mohammed is saying, well, if Slot goes, then maybe he should stay because he's going to get more minutes and he doesn't want to leave anyway. So all of these links are predicated on the fact on whether maybe Slot stays or goes. So Shem, I'm not sure. Somebody said he would disagree with me and I decided that was enough of that nonsense. Down with that sort of thing. So I don't know why. I'm entirely not sure. Do we need a reason? No, 40 quarter. I couldn't think why. But this here has come out. Breaking. Ajax have talked with Arne Slot about becoming the new manager of Ajax. Considering they had Erik ten Hag and it went very well for them, I don't think this is outside the realm of possibility that they want him. I mean, he might not want them, but they might want him. This is from Mike Vervelge, who is a sports reporter of the Telegraph over there. Telegraph Netherlands. So he is a proper reporter with a proper publication. He has 134,000 followers. So I don't think he's just made it up, if you get what I mean. I would suggest the interest, at the very least, from Ajax is real. So all is not lost, Liverpool fans. All is not lost. Once the rumour mill starts, there's at least a chance. You got to fan the flames. And hope it happens. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that in because we did look, as we're talking about Curtis Jones, as obviously the Liverpool fans are saying, well, a lot of it probably depends on if Slot stays. Well, maybe he won't. Because as I said, it looked like he was really, really going to go. And then it looked like, no, he was definitely going to stay. And now it seems, Now it seems, So, yes. However, it is not all sunshine and roses. It is not all sunshine and roses, because if Slot does leave, and again, we're all the way down the rabbit hole, people, so you're going to have to stick with me, all the way down the rabbit hole. If Slot did leave to go to Ajax, David Ornstein is bursting some people's bubbles. So David Ornstein came out, and he did come out with this a little while ago. He came out with this on the 16th of April, but I've kept it because I want to know if he's right. And David Ornstein said, I'm not aware of Xabi Alonso being on Liverpool's agenda. People might not like to hear that, and if I'm proved wrong, you can all laugh at me. The intention is to continue with Arne Slot. Even if he was to be replaced, I don't have any information to suggest Alonso would be in line to replace him. So you might keep Slot and lose Jones, but you might get rid of Slot and keep Jones, but you're not getting Alonso. Essentially is where we're at with Liverpool right now. That's basically where we're at. I've rounded up all of the tea that I can find on this to bring it to you, to present you with the tea. Mohammed is saying, in regards to Slot, no one knows if he's going or staying, but I think he will leave, not because of the owners, because they want to keep him. I think Slot will walk because of no new contract. How long has he left on his contract, Mohammed? That is the one piece of tea that I don't know. How long has Slot got left on his contract? How long has Slot got left on his contract? Blah, blah, blah. Just get to the point, lads. 2027. Thank you. You gave that to me much quicker than any of the news outlets. I'm just looking at the Mirror here. It is suggested that the Eredivisie side, that would be Ajax, lodged an inquiry for Slot, so that much was true, but were quickly rebuffed. The 47-year-old, that would be Slot, is still firmly in situ at Anfield and is not keen on a move to Ajax at this stage of his career. He remains under contract on Merseyside until 2027, as reported by Mohammed. Previous reports have suggested that Anfield Chiefs are keen to stick by Slot and will give him time to turn things around at the club. So this is in the Mirror. This was in the Mirror 4 hours ago. 4 hours ago. So today, this morning, that was put out in the Mirror. So the job offer was real from Ajax, but he is not interested in leaving Liverpool for Ajax. Shocking. It's actually incredibly shocking. I can't believe why he wouldn't want to leave one of the top Premier League teams to go to Ajax. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, you should be the reporter. You should be the reporter. Harold is saying, honestly, I don't like clubs like Liverpool having a manager like Slot or Eric Ten Hag. I want to beat Liverpool at their best, not whilst crippled. I might hate them, but I do respect Liverpool highly, and that's fair. Slot is 47. According to the Mirror, Slot is 47, Luke. And yes, Lucky. The mindset to be professional, that is correct and right. That's the way it should be. Let me see. Luke is having a wee sing-song. And yes, Lucky is reiterating the fact that he is a Glazers out fan. And Lucky is saying today, we should buy Mateus Fernandes, Alex Scott and Tchouaméni. I'll be honest, if we got Mateus Fernandes, Alex Scott and Tchouaméni, I would be absolutely buzzing. I would be buzzing. But I don't have as much faith as Lucky, but I would be buzzing if that happened. However, guys, that it's not all about Liverpool. It's not all about Liverpool. There are other managers in the Premier League, okay? So, Florian Plettenberg has put out that Fabian Hurtzler's new contract at Brighton is a done deal. All details of a new long-term contract with Brighton have now been agreed, signing soon. Brighton are 100% satisfied and are planning the future with Hurtzler, who's 33, lads. He's 33 and he will stay at Brighton despite other approaches, including from Leverkusen. I thought that was interesting because obviously there was a point in the season where he potentially was going to be sacked because things were going so wrong. The turnaround has been incredible. Nobody can argue with what Brighton have done this season. And according to Florian Plettenberg, they are now basically done and ready to sign a new contract with him. All details of a new long-term contract have now been agreed, signing soon. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, 33, Mohammed. He's only a baba. But I thought that was it. Because obviously we know there's going to be a pretty big manager merry-go-round next season in the Premier League. We're going to be having managers here, there and everywhere. It's interesting to see. And I wonder, is a part of offering Hurtzler this new long-term contract to stop him being tempted away by other teams? Because he has done a good job at Brighton. They had a blip, but they've had overall a pretty good season. There's going to be a lot of Premier League teams looking for managers next season. And I wonder, are Brighton trying to tie him into this deal, a new long-term deal, so that nobody comes along and steals their manager? Because it's going to be a free-for-all for managers this summer. It's going to be a free-for-all. So I think maybe part of this is, yeah, you just stay right here where you are, because it's going to be every team for themselves in the summer looking for a manager. And I think the timing of offering him this new long-term contract is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Conversely, another good word, conversely, Footy Corner TV says nobody wants him though, do they? Well, we don't know that because we've got about 6 or 7 teams that might be looking for new managers next season. Who's to say Chelsea might not have a go at him? Who's to say if Spurs stay up, they might not have a go at him? Who's to say Crystal Palace might not have a go at him? So we can't say nobody wants him. We can't say that at all with any level of certainty. To say nobody wants him, I mean, we don't know. There's 6 or 7 teams, and I would say at least some of them might look at him. Nobody wants a crybaby. That's a bit insulting and unnecessary. There's no need to be rude. No need to be rude about people. But it's not all good for Rob Edwards. So Rob Edwards, I feel, has come in and done a blinder since he's come to Wolves. Obviously, things have been difficult since the return of the Premier League, since the most recent international break. But since the time he took over from Victor Pereira until the start of this most recent international break, things were really good. Like really, really good. Footy Corner TV. He wasn't rude about your club on my channel, and we're not 5 years old. So less of it, please. So, as reported in The Athletic by Steve Madley, 5 league games ago, Rob Edwards, standing as Wolverhampton Wanderers head coach, seemed relatively high after delivering wins against Aston Villa and Liverpool for a soon-to-be relegated team. He ended Saturday being called a very rude word that starts with W by home supporters at Molineux after going straight down the tunnel at full time, having already been booed and insulted for a second-half substitution. The question for Wolves is, do they stick or twist before they return to the Championship next season? Steve Madley went on to say, suddenly it feels as if Wolves' hierarchy have an unwanted decision to make about the direction of travel for next season and whether Rob Edwards should remain in his position. Now, I personally think this is a storm in a teacup. I personally think this is a nonsense. My understanding, and maybe this was my assumption, I took it that when they got rid of Vitor Pereira they already knew they were going to be relegated. They were in talks of being the worst Premier League side like ever. So they knew they were going to be relegated when they took Rob Edwards on. Rob Edwards, who left a reasonably good job to come back to a team that they sort of knew was going to be relegated. And he has a history with the club. And so my understanding was they both entered into the agreement for him to be the manager, understanding that when they went down to the championship, it would be together. So he was taking on the fact that next season he was going to be managing in the championship, and they were taking on, well, like, we're already really bad, so when he comes in, he's not a miracle worker. And then what he did was almost a miracle. Like, what did we say? He's almost trebled the points that they had when he came in. He certainly more than trebled their win rate. And so he's done a fantastic job. Yes, okay, it's been a little bit rough since the most recent international break. But overall, what he did from what he took over has been incredible. So to me, the thought that maybe they would get rid of him to go down to the championship, I think seems a little bit crazy. And I wonder, is it something that they're actually even thinking about? Like, is this whole scenario made up? Because let me just read this bit again. Suddenly, it feels, so they're on the vibes here, it feels as if Wolves' hierarchy have an unwanted decision to make about the direction of travel for next season and whether Rob Edwards should remain in his position. And all of this is based on the fans being a bit angry at their most recent match where the result wasn't good. And as Harold said earlier, if clubs started making all their decisions based on whenever fans get a little bit angry, we're in real trouble. I don't actually think this is real. I don't think this is real. I think that they've had a tough run of fixtures in the last 3 matches. The fans are rightfully angry because they had this at the start of the season and then things got better and they don't want to go back to how bad it was. So I understand absolutely the fans being raging. But I don't think there is a decision about Rob Edwards. I don't even think the hierarchy are considering it. It feels like, now don't get me wrong, we all know I love the feels and the vibes. I love the speculation. But I'm not a journalist. I'm not like paid to come up with factual information. And there's nothing here that tells me they're actually genuinely considering this. This is guesswork. The journalist is guessing that because the fans were angry on Saturday, the hierarchy are making a decision over Rob Edwards' future. But there's nothing saying they are. There's no factual information. There's no research. There's no source. It's a guess. It's a guess because the fans were angry that maybe his job is under threat. I don't believe that to be the case. I think that's a bit of a stretch. It's a bit of a stretch. And I don't actually think his job is under threat at all. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe it is. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think it's made up. Harold is saying, what is the manager supposed to do? I agree with you. Yeah, like, I think he's worked a miracle since he came in. He did more than anybody expected. Lucky is saying, maybe Alex Scott is an underrated bargain. I love the Brighton recruitment, and they show all of us big clubs the way to treat it when we buy players. They do a good job, Lucky. They do a really good job. Palace is saying, I think he will stay. I think he stays too. I don't think there's anything in it. I just wanted to bring it up because obviously a lot of this morning we've touched on a few players, but we're mostly kind of talking about managers and the manager merry-go-round and who's staying and who's going. And so I thought, look, we'll bring it up today. But unless I see something more concrete, I don't actually think there's anything in it. I don't think his job's under threat at all. I just don't. Unless I see more, I don't think his job is actually under threat whatsoever. Let me see. Footy Corner TV is saying, I like Brighton and he did okay, so Hertzler, but the things he said were unnecessary. I do think sometimes managers come out with stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. When people say stuff about my club, I'm like, don't like. Like, I fell out with Tarkowski. Tarkowski threw Yarrow in the back of the net. That's it. I will never like Tarkowski again. Will Hughes did that whole thing with Casemiro. That's it. He's on a shit list. I will never like Will Hughes again. So maybe I don't really mind because he didn't say it about United. If he'd said it about United, I don't know what he said about Arsenal. If he'd said it about United, I might feel the same way as 40 Corner TV. To be fair, it's easy to say when it's not your club. So I potentially would also be angry. I don't know what the quotes were, though. I don't know what he said. But yeah, if he said something mean about United, I would probably put him in the bin as well. To be fair. Let me see. Palace, unless their vision has changed. But how could it have changed? So at the time, they had 1 win in the league and were on track to be the worst Premier League side of all time. And he has drastically improved them. I don't understand what could have changed so much at Wolves to make them think, nah, this is the wrong direction for us. Improvement isn't good. I don't understand. Mohammed is saying, I can't stand Pickford. And that's it. We all have the ones that have got our own teams. And so that's where it comes into. Hertzler's never said anything that I'm aware of about United. So I don't really particularly have a problem with him. But if he come after United, I'd be in Footy Corner TV's corner. I'd be in the Footy Corner and giving out about him. So look, that's the way it is sometimes. But yeah, huge. The journalist needed to write something, so he just made something up. That is very much what it felt like. That's genuinely what it felt like. He had a deadline. He didn't know what he was going to say. He didn't want to do any research, so he just made something up. Is how it reads to me. It's all vibes, which is fine because I just waffle on YouTube. I know I'm all vibes, but I'm not trying to be a professional journalist. If I worked for like a newspaper or it was like people looked to me for factual information, I wouldn't be writing about vibes. Do you know what I mean? Time and place. Speaking of vibes, the Eddie Howe vibes. According to David Ornstein, and this is from the 3rd of May, according to David Ornstein, Eddie Howe is set to remain the Newcastle United boss as things stand, and barring an unexpected turn of events, the 48-year-old, why are we outing everybody's age? Why is everybody's age suddenly? In everything I've read so far today, they've told me the age of the person. I'm not sure how that's relevant to the story, but okay. Eddie Howe, barring an unexpected turn of events, Eddie Howe will lead Newcastle into the 26-27 season and retains the ownership hierarchical support and is keen to continue. All parties accept that this season cannot be repeated. So they're basically saying, right, we're going to draw a line under this season. We're not happy with it. It's not acceptable. It can't happen again next season. But let's not have a heart attack and be reactionary. We're going to go into next season with the understanding it's going to be better than this season. That seems to be where we're at, according to David Ornstein. And just while we're on the subject of Newcastle, I thought this was quite fun. This is the last thing I would have bring in. I thought this one was really quite fun. So let me put it up on the screen. If you remember recently, we spoke obviously about the big meeting between the ownership and all the big heads. We're having the meeting at Newcastle with Eddie Howe about all the things. And then a story came out about the owner was playing football on the sideline and he was meeting the team, and his story came out that he'd accidentally, and it wasn't a big thing, but that he'd accidentally hit the photographer, the club photographer, when he was playing football. And so the photographer has actually come out and answered this, which I thought, but it's fun. It's just fun. Shout out to Bruce, who's in the house. Good afternoon, my dear. But this is what she's come out as. So this was the footage, and you can see the ball comes flying in, and what? It's just a little bit of fun. It's not anything crazy. And so he kicks the ball, and it looks like it hits her. And so this is what was said. Keith Downey, with this little face, a woozy face is what it's called, says he hits the club photographer with the ball. So this is the photographer. Just to clear up any confusion, reported by a Sky Sports reporter, that's you, Keith, I was not hit as suggested. After 21 years of sitting pitchside, those razor-sharp reactions kicked in, and I deflected it mid-flight. Pass me the gloves next time. And I did think it was quite funny because a few of them were saying, might be an improvement on our current goalkeepers, Serena. Are you ready to kiss up next season or the rest of the season? Which I thought was quite funny. I thought it was all a little bit of fun, a little bit of tongue in cheek. But Keith Downey and the other guy, Graham Bailey, they're not having a good couple of weeks at the minute. They're not having a good couple of weeks, but I thought it was quite fun just because we had mentioned it in passing. I thought it was nice to bring up. Bruno is saying, journalists make shit up all the time. You should look into gaming news if you really want to gauge just how much shit they cook up. It is insane out there. Let me see. Mohammed, he asked ChatGPT to make up some news for me. Bruce has said he's a non-hooligan. I don't know. I think all the teacups are hooligans in this castle. All the teacups. But shout out to Bruce. Thank you very much. Harold is saying about Eddie Howe, he brought them a title for the first time in close to 70 years. And I suppose that goes back to what you were saying earlier, Harold, about showing a little bit of loyalty, showing loyalty to players, showing loyalty to managers. I'm probably not quite as loyal as you. I'm probably a little bit more cutthroat. I'm a little bit more like, you know what, if it's not working, just change it. But you're probably a bit more logical about it, to be fair, Harold. Yeah, I've seen it happen too, Mohammed. I've definitely seen it happen too. But guys, that brings us to the end of our show. We have been here for over an hour. We've talked about all the people. I've squidged as many different clubs in there as I can. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I hope you've had a nice time. I hope you've enjoyed the chat. I have very much enjoyed the chat. You've all been wonderful. I want to give a special shout out, massive shout out to Rob Always United, who started the sticker off with the pair. Then we had Palace Red Devil got in on the pair action. Then we had Shem. Then Moonshine brought out the fox. And then we have Bruce Graham reminding everyone he's not a hooligan. Not a hooligan, guys. Shout out to everybody who's been here, who's got involved, who was chatting in the chat, who smashed a like on the video, just for giving me your time. And an extra special shout out to our very lovely super chatters and super stickerers. Thank you very much. It's very, very much appreciated. I will be back this evening, guys. I believe we do have Champions League. Surely we've Champions League tonight. I haven't got my days wrong. So it is Arsenal Atletico Madrid tonight. I will be live at 7. I will be live at 7 because there's a few things I want to talk about ahead of this game before it kicks off. And then I will be doing a live match reaction after the game as well. So we're doing 3 shows today. We're going cray. We're doing 3 shows today. And I will be back here at 7 o'clock. As usual, I'll set it up right after this one so you can get chatting away if you want to. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a very, very lovely day. As lovely as you all are.